What's up, everybody? Wasn't planning on recording tonight, but Fateless dropped a new video with some big news, so I decided to jump on and make a quick little video on it. I think some of the biggest news to drop, if you hadn't already heard from people getting information from Simon's stream last Friday, they are looking more at a March-April launch date for early access now. They found some issues in the tech testing that they needed to resolve before launch, and not the biggest deal, shifting from February, March to March, April. We know they've said multiple times they're not going to release it until it's ready and they feel like they're good with the launch, so I think it's good that they're keeping to it and not releasing a game that has security issues or other issues that could put players at risk. A little bit of good news from that, though, is for people that haven't signed up for the Godforge mini quest yet, or if you're still struggling to get your Aether maxed out. The mini quest has been expanded all the way to the end of February, so now you basically have an extra week to collect your Aether and sign in to get a legendary hero. So if you watched my last video, I said it was too late to get started and get a legendary, but you actually have 4 or 5 more days to log in and still have enough time to log in every day and get a legendary hero. The other biggest news from the video is they released drop rates. Now, like everything, we're not even in early access yet still, so just like the hero kits, everything is still subject to change. But honestly, this is kind of what I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie, the 40 summons for Flawless seems a bit high, and that's really the main thing that jumps out at me. Not saying it's right, but this is kind of what I expected. I've been keeping up with all the Fateless updates, and this was kind of the direction they were headed anyways. Why should I explain it when I can let the man himself explain it? I got a clip here from a Q&A that they did in October, so just about almost 4 months ago now.
What are going to be the pull-in rates on shards? I don't know exactly off the top of my head. If I was to talk about other games, I think Raid Shadow Legends is actually pretty damn close. I think we would be a bit more generous than Raid, but probably not a lot different. The main difference would be that you would get a lot of the resources more frequently, rather than the chances being way better. Because we still want that wow moment when you get the heroes that you feel like are really game-changing for your accounts. And again, similar to the last point, if it's just super easy to get everything, it's boring.
So there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. They were always shooting for raid-type rates, but with that being said, their philosophy is that they can be a bit more generous on the resources, so I think these rates fall right in line with that. Like I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I personally am used to raid, so it's not really a big deal for me. But I think the one thing, there's a bunch of chatter in the creator chat today, I think the one thing everyone agreed on was it's a no-win for Fateless. This is just one of those things where you definitely can't make everyone happy. Somebody's going to have a problem with whichever way you do it, so I don't really have anything to add except for, yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting for drop rates. And I think this news is going to kind of take away the focus from some other great news in the video, so I would much rather dial into that info. Backing it up a bit, one of the things he showed off is the quick leveling of heroes, where you can just click autofill and drag the slider, and nothing populated here, but you will fill these up with heroes if you have food heroes that you can use, and basically you will just be able to quickly promote and max level a hero if you have all the resources. If you're an alpha, it's the same system, but I just didn't want to skip it in case you're just seeing this for the first time. He also went over hero unbinding, which was also an alpha. As you can see, he has 3 rares selected here, 3 uncommons, and you can't see the commons, they're off screen, but turns into spirits that you can use for leveling. It's a great system, but same thing as the autofill on levels. If you were an alpha, you're familiar with the system, but if you're seeing it for the first time, there you go. And one thing we'll watch real quick is he goes into the battle and shows the different camera angles. If you know from alpha, they've been working on them during and still since alpha. They got 3 nice views.
I mean, we've got all of these different cameras, by the way. like POV camera, top camera, or action camera, all of which we're still playing with.
This was a page I was looking forward to in alpha, but it wasn't working. Although I do think they got it partially working for Wave 3. You can just quickly click info and see all the buffs and debuffs on both teams. And I'm pretty sure the next part is new. I don't think we had it in alpha, where you can see all the abilities, and you can also go into the enemy team, which is real cool. I'm not entirely sure about this overview, but I go forward a little bit. Like, they don't have full turn meter and they don't have shield showing 100% for all this. Maybe it updates as you have effects, like we know Metzli restores lost HP, so maybe the HP tracks your HP, and you have the divinity for tracking how much increased or decreased divinity you have. I'm drawing a blank on the buff and debuff that controls, or not controls, but reduces and increases divinity. Maybe that would show up here, and same thing with speed. Maybe if you have increased speed, the 100% goes up, but just guessing there. I also think Chernobog is real sick champion design, so kind of awesome to watch his kit play out.
Go unleash. And then let Chernobog get some damage out. Motion stuff. So,
but anyways, he showed all that just to show that you can use your max leveled heroes to farm experience. Unlike other games, you don't have to throw in food champions to level them up and use a farmer champion. Whether it's faster or not, just using one champion and gaining extra XP that way, or using a full team. We'll be able to test that in early access, but you don't need a farmer with food to level up the food. You just get the bonus experience overflow if your heroes are at max level. And not to keep repeating myself, but again, that was something that was in alpha, so you're probably familiar with it, but again, in case it's your first time hearing about it, wanted to point it out. One cool update was we got a little more information on the Discord integration. Not a whole ton, but basically we know you can set up a channel for your Pantheon, and you can talk to people in-game and outside of game in Discord, and you can also link your Discord account so that you can set up chat with your friends, so you can talk through Discord with Discord friends. And we just got another shot of your friends list. You can see who's online in Godforge, you can see who's online doing something else, and who's offline. I got to admit, I'm not great at staying active on Discord, but I still think this is a really cool feature that might help me be more active, since I can just pop in while I'm in game and chat and not have to switch windows or anything. But we'll see how useful it really is when we can see more of it in early access. I should have mentioned this when I was going over summoning, but in case you missed it from a previous video, they do have the Echo Fragment Echo summoning system. So basically, using these different summon stones, you get points, and once you earn 500 points, you can summon a guaranteed legendary from your roster. And that way, just through normal summoning, you can build up these points and get duplicates to help ascend your legendary heroes. Last time they talked about it, I don't think they had a name for it yet, so now we know it's going to be Echo Summons, and yeah, if you hadn't heard about it before, there you go. Right here, I think, is huge news that's, well, maybe not huge news, but I think it's important news that's going to get overshadowed by the summoning.
So let's talk about space, right? Space in your game. So ignore the little glitch, but everyone's going to have 1,000 space. You don't have to unlock it with rubies. It's not going to cost you real life cash.
There you have it. The hero roster is going to be 1,000 spots right off launch, completely open. Now, I know one of the huge topics is monetization and shady practices, and will they, won't they, what are they going to do? I think this is a big step in the right direction, and that's the reason I think it's important news. They're not gonna nickel and dime you on hero space. Other games, you gotta pay a massive gold tax, or waste your premium currency, whether it's gems or whatever is in the game you play, to unlock more roster spots so you can collect more heroes. and right off the rip they're giving you 1,000 spaces free. Now that's not to say in the future maybe they will have increased storage that they will charge for, but I think this is a huge step in the right direction for people concerned about what practices they're gonna have in their game. Not to drain too much into it because this wasn't a video on monetization, but I would expect them to have typical packs that are in this genre, and kind of like the summoning. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, it's just kind of what I'm used to from this genre, which again, doesn't make it right, but personally me, I won't be that offended by the different packs in the game. But I think things like this, where you don't have to waste your premium currency on unlocking hero roster spots, speaks volumes. Because hey, you might have this pack or that pack, but at the end of the day, that's just a pack in the shop that you can ignore, versus your hero roster filling up, and instead of getting this quality of life provided for you, you gotta pay a fee to be able to play the game better. You know, you can suffer constantly feeding champs and having to deal with managing the space, or you can pay for quality of life that Godforge is just giving you. So yeah, I think that's really important. Not sure if others will see it that way, but something that stood out to me. He also went into the gear filtering, or just filtering your gear in general, and also specifically for selling. Not sure how updated this is since the last time we've seen it, but you can see all the different options you have right away to filter down by, and one of the ones I'm a huge fan of is the exclude stats. Sorry, I had to play a little forward to really make my point. I really like the exclude button. You can see you have it on primary and secondary stats. Ignore my sloppy highlighting. But I think it's super handy because you might want to do something, for example, sell all your speed gear that doesn't have a speed substat. Obviously, you got to be careful with your selections and make sure you're not selling any speed gear with a speed main stat, but I think it's a great quality of life to be able to just sell all your gear that doesn't have speed on it if you want to, versus having to sift through all your gear and pick out one by one the ones that don't have speed stats. I guess if I played a little bit more forward, Simon would have done it himself. So you can see here he excluded speed, no speed substat on this gear. Here's the other big news that I think is going to be overshadowed that I'm a huge fan of. Alright, sorry if there's a weird cut there. I actually listened to Simon and it answered one of my questions. I'm trying to remember from Alpha, but I think these, which he called seals, are new. But if I had to guess, I would think the scrolls are for rares, the seals are for epic, and the tomes are for legendaries, and the pages are... He said the pages are farmable material, but I'm thinking the pages are only a farmable material now. I think they might have been for rares in Alpha, but not 100% sure on that. But basically, the other big news is that you can farm these pages, and again, like everything else, everything's subject to change, so take the numbers with a grain of salt. But you can turn 40 pages into one scroll, you can turn 5 scrolls into one seal, and you can turn 3 seals into a legendary tome. I think that's another huge update. Sorry to keep referencing Raid, but that's what I've played the most. I know this has been something that's been asked for a long time. I think if I popped up my Raid account now, I'm probably sitting over 100 rare books that I'm never going to use, because I just use epics, legendaries, mythicals now. And I don't think it'll be that way at the launch, obviously. The rares are going to be a real integral part of your team to start off the game. But as you progress, I think this will be huge. Being able to farm pages to upgrade everything into the next thing is going to be a huge boost to be able to book out your legendaries. And just to clarify, he does say himself that it's not something that'll be super easy to farm. It is supposed to be a grind. You're not going to go in and in one day be like, alright, I got all these books for my Legos. It is going to take a while to farm up these materials. But hey, it's something that's farmable, and that's huge. I don't want to bring it back to monetization again too much. One of the other pillars, if it's alright to call it that they were standing on is that purchasing should just get you somewhere faster, not get you something that free-to-play can't obtain. And I think this is another one of the systems that allows free-to-play to keep up. Maybe not keep up, but, in the same vein that the Echo Summons allow you to get dupes of your legendaries so you can actually build out your legendaries to max awakening. Now there's a system to farm books so you can fully upgrade your legendary skills without having to go in and purchase books or you know, wait 2 months for rewards. I think they'll be more generous with the rewards than that, but, you know, just throwing it out there as an example. So I'm seeing a lot of positives from this video, at least for me personally. There is one more bit of news, but Simon will explain it better than I can paraphrase it, so I'm gonna let him explain it again.
Sure was possible with just about any system in the game. It's like, you know, you decide where you're going to spend your energy, how you're going to spend your energy, and how you want to advance your accounts. And, you know, when we get the mastery system in as well, which is not going to be for early access, but it's going to be, you know, shortly after that, you will decide where you want to go and farm to go after masteries that are really important to you. So those type of things, it's just like give player agency to really enjoy the game in their style. If there's someone who loves PvP, we'll go and farm masteries which are going to help you for PvP. That type of stuff.
So yeah, that's huge news. We did hear before that masteries weren't going to make it to early access, but the mastery system is something I was already really excited for from the way that they've explained it in past videos. But now, knowing that you can go and kind of pick and farm where you want to earn masteries that you think will help you the most in your style of play, that's amazing. Huge fan of that. I'm typically not a big PvP player. I just tend to enjoy PvE more, just my style. So it's like a breath of fresh air hearing that you're not going to get forced into PvP to focus on PvE masteries. Granted, with all that being said, I do kind of want to focus on PvP just so I can get a well-balanced everywhere in Godforge when it comes out. But still really great news. That's the main point. I'm rambling too much. So that's everything they went over in their video. I kind of just wanted to cover it because I think the summon rates, as big of news as it is, I think it's going to overshadow some of the other great news that was in the video. So just wanted to make this and hopefully shine a little light on the other updates that were mentioned in this video that I think are incredible. And hopefully I did a good job highlighting them. Let me know your thoughts down below. Am I totally crazy? Am I totally off base with my thoughts? Let me know how you feel in the comments. I want to ramble on too much longer, but make sure if you're not signed up for Godforge quests, get signed up for that. We got that extension till the end of February, which I think it was ending on the 20th anyways, so it's like 8 more days. So make sure to sign up. You got a bonus chance, or you got bonus time to earn a legendary hero for Godforge. And that's all I have for this one. Have a good one.